Can I just say, James, I am so happy that you're dying. Because I haven't gotten to do death saving throws in 5e before, and I get to try out a thing that I have always wanted to try out to spice them up.
Happy to help.
Flint. Everything goes dark around you. The sounds of the battle around you seem to fade away. You're kind of standing there, and you look down, and you notice, hey, that dwarf looks an awful lot like me. Assuming that you can actually recognize yourself in a mirror.
Yes, he has noticed that the man in the mirror is him.
And suddenly, behind you, you notice a tall figure. A tall, skeletal, cowled figure looks down at you with its glowing eyes, and it says,
Flynn, you are at death's door. You may challenge me for your soul. You may choose the form of the challenge.
What kind of challenge would Flint choose to battle death for his soul? This isn't part of the playtest. This is just something I've always wanted to do.
He's gonna reach out like he's gonna hug death. This is a skeletal figure, right?
It's a skeletal figure.
So he's gonna hug the figure, like no rolls, and then he's gonna back off and pat his belly.
What?
He's gonna lift up his arm, and he's gonna flex a muscle, and then he's gonna poke at the noodle arms of the skeleton.
You might have to spell this out for me. I'm so confused. You've confused Death himself.
I got more meat than you. That means I win.
Death stares at you, and then suddenly transforms into a likeness of you. Bony, but his bones are strangely swole. He flexes his muscles of bone. What kind of check would you like to make to outmuscle him?
Strength.
That's strength. Just straight strength. Okay, go ahead and roll that. He rolls a nat 20. His bone muscles strain. You have lost your first death saving throw by trying to outmuscle death. His bone veins pulsate on his bone muscles. His bonecepts. It's boneception over here. Caliaseth's turn.
I'm going to do the thing that my character would do, and not the smart thing. And just kind of, while looking at him, loudly proclaim, "Finally, a worthy challenger! It's a shame you spent all that time training on yourself just to meet your match in front of me and my companions. Prepare yourself!" As part of that, I would also like to make an attack against said bugbear. That's a 19 to hit.
A 19 hits.
Which is 16 points of bludgeoning damage to this bugbear.
So, Clark, in response to you, goes, "Ha ha ha! Puny lizard man! I will build a throne from your tiny bones!" And then you clock him upside the face with the warhammer, so much so that his feet leave the ground and he crashes into the boulder behind him. I'm gonna let him be unconscious. Flint, as you are in the middle of flexing against death, you notice, as you happen to cast your eyes a little bit off to the side, that there is a bugbear also flexing against a bugbear skeleton, and he just kind of gives you a nod, and the skeletal bugbear gives you a nod, and you're all just sitting there flexing. It is the wolf's turn, and the wolf is pissed about what just happened to Flint Stranglebeard. He takes damage, and I believe that's an automatic fail if you take damage. From Flint's perspective, Clark suddenly, he stumbles a little bit, he stops flexing, and you can almost see these tendrils of darkness kind of coming up and wrapping around him. And he actually seems a little bit frightened. Flint.
Alright, so at this point, I see that Clark, is going through the same sort of ordeal that I am. So I'm going to try to grapple Astral Clark.
In this perfectly fair and square battle with the forces of death and nature. You have definitely crossed a line. You have grappled the spirit of your enemy. Holy shit, I have no idea how to even describe this. This is so this is just disorienting.
He's like, what? Get off! What are you doing?
The figures of death, as you do this, rush toward each other and start grappling each other. But their grappling is not as impressive as your grappling, and you have one success. This has gone in a weird direction. Spirit murder. Okay. It's Clark's turn, and I am ruling that because he is being grappled, he is going to make his death saving throw at disadvantage. He is apparently now doing his contest for his soul against you, Flint, instead of against death. But, so I guess if he's doing it against you, trying to escape your grapple, then go ahead and roll your check to grapple. So, Clark the Bugbear, as you are grappling him, these black tendrils of necrotic energy and force are continuing to rise up from the ground and wrap across his body, and you just put your hand on top of his head and push him down into it. And he sinks into the ground and is gone.
When you roll a 20 on a death saving throw, you do regain 1 hit point. Would you be amiable to Flint waking up and yelling, "I win"?
The problem is that when you come out of it, you have no memory that any of this has happened. But I like to think that that was right on, like, his periphery. It was buffered so that as soon as he woke up, he shouted that, and then didn't know why he shouted that. Death gives you a bony thumbs up as he fades away, and you come back with 1 hit point. Hey, Mistis, guess what?
Oh, okay.
You are dying, but you may challenge me for your soul. Yada yada. You have sort of already heard this before.
No, I like to think that, like, we don't know anything about Mistis's backstory, so Mistis is just like, oh, hey, Death, and then just like,
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Are we doing another wet t-shirt contest? Is that what I'm hearing?
it means you're going to get a version of Death who has bone titties, so, like...
I mean, I think she'd still win. Bone does not sound as soft as normal titties.
Maybe we should get off of this line. What do you...
I know. We'll gamble. I say that that goblin's gonna die.
Death, like, twitches a little bit, and he's like...
Mistis, you know I am fighting gambling addiction.
We can do that. It's just going to be weird because that means that it's going to have an effect on the actual material world. Like, if Death rolls better than you, the goblin is going to be able to get out of the way of Kaliasek. That's how it would work.
That would be so entertaining.
If you want to do that, we can do that. Kaliasek,
Sure.
are you in on this?
Yeah, most definitely.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead and roll your D20, Rocky.
Is it just 1d20?
Just 1d20 for now. What did you roll?
14, which is probably
14.
not great.
Okay, so we're going to put a pin in that until Kaliaset's next turn then. It is Varys's turn.
I'm going to swing with my quarterstaff, which should still have
Yeah, that'll have Shillelagh on it still.
13 damage.
Mistis is like, I bet you that goblin is going to die within the next couple of seconds. And Death, who cannot resist a gamble,
I'll take you up on that.
an eyeball hits him in the side of the face.
Damn it.
He pulls out a cell phone, and he's like,
Dr. Winslow, I fell off the wagon.
I'll see you next week.
and you are stabilized. That's not how I meant for any of that to play out, but that is so much better than a regular death saving throw. I'm sorry, I'm probably ruining Dungeons and Dragons right now.